Well, it's that time of the week when we go out to the other coast of the United States, the West Coast, that is, in Los Angeles, and Michael Snyder, where he's going to tell us about the movies that are out this week. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and hi, listeners. And yeah, we got kind of a mixed bag this week, but let's roll on and see what's available. Let's start with Skyscraper. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, heads up this action blockbuster in the role of a veteran and a security expert, Will Ford, who is framed for a Hong Kong skyscraper fire that he's supposed to be overseeing security-wise. And when the fire starts, he must somehow save his family from the burning building and also clear his name. His wife is played by Neve Campbell. The rest of the cast, not all that recognizable. There's a lot of Asian actors in the mix. The great creepy character actor from the UK, Noah Taylor, is in this thing. And, he does what you're going to expect him to do. That's one of the things about this movie. Let's be fair, though. It's written and directed by Ross and Marshall Thurber, who, by the way, is a San Francisco native. And so a little bit of hometown pride here. He also wrote and directed the frankly hilarious Dodgeball and the less satisfying comedy with The Rock, Central Intelligence. So that suggests that there's a droll, self-mocking undercurrent here. I mean, consider that Will is laboring during all of these superhuman Dwayne Johnson feats with a physical disability, which is kind of empowering. Actually, this is very much like Die Hard with a prosthetic. I mean, more so than the towering Rockferno. I mean, there are laughs, there are some cool video gamey hijinks, and there's constant action. Compared to The Rock's relentlessly idiotic, poorly CGI'd rampage, this is Die Hard, and compared to Die Hard, it's throwaway summer entertainment to make you munch on a tub of popcorn. When it comes to movies with Mr. Johnson, I kind of prefer Jumanji to this, but this was not a waste of my time if I was looking for sheer entertainment, and that's what I was doing. On the other hand, I've got a very, very good movie to tout right now. On the face of it, Eighth Grade is a gentle comedy that follows a 13-year-old girl as she endures the turbulence of contemporary suburban adolescence during her last week of middle school. But it's more than that. It's a vivid, real, sometimes painful, sometimes charming, small-scale slice of humanity, focusing on a significant coming-of-age moment, that moment when you're on the verge of transitioning from middle school to high school. It's the ordinary made extraordinary through sheer honesty. So the kid, Kayla, brilliant, well, I don't know if it's brilliantly, but wonderfully played by Elsie Fisher. She's a thoughtful, plain Jane with kind of an earnest streak and a need for affirmation. It may come by being the only child of a single father. In any event, this movie shows the lure and all the pain and pitfalls of being young in the digital age of social media. I mean, its naturalism is kind of documentary level, even though it's evidently a narrative. Writer-director Bo Burnham has done his research and paid attention to kid angst in a way that is caring and not mocking. Still, this is sometimes as funny as it is sweet, as cringe-inducing as it is heartbreaking and heartwarming, especially when it comes to Kayla's relationship with her single dad. Well played, by the way, by Josh Hamilton. Bo Burnham has done some comedy documentaries and a few other things like that, but this is an impressive calling card for him. I really thought Eighth Grade was wonderful. Okay, Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot is sort of a biopic. Joaquin Phoenix, Jonah Hill, Rooney Mara, and Jack Black star in this, which is the latest from award-winning filmmaker Gus Van Sant. And it's about a real-life Pacific Northwest cartoonist, guy named John Callahan, who is played by Joaquin Phoenix. And this guy has to try and rebuild his shattered life after his addictive behavior leads to a terrible accident. The movie isn't an overwhelming triumph, but instead it's kind of a worthy, bittersweet, humane combo of biopic and cautionary tale, and it's beautifully acted by Phoenix, and among others, Jonah Hill, almost unrecognizable as his sponsor at AA. There are some heavy-handed moments, but the message of triumphing over one's weaknesses, even in the face of serious tragedy, is clear and valuable. I was very gratified by Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot. It's not terribly ambitious, but it's done very, very well. And has a really interesting supporting cast. People like Carrie Brownstein from Portlandia and Kim Gordon, the musician from Sonic Youth, Udo Kier. It's a cool film. And I say yay to Don't Worry. Okay, the next stop on our little magical mystery tour is Shock and Awe. Rob Reiner directed this docudrama about a group of skeptical journalists at Knight Ridder who are covering George Bush's planned invasion of Iraq in 2003 while cover-ups are going on right and left. It stars James Marsden, Woody Harrelson, Jessica Biel, Tommy Lee Jones, among others. In a very Hitchcockian situation, Mr. Reiner acts in this movie as well as a boss at Knight Ridder. And I mean, look, this is a fine cast. It's well-meaning, but it's kind of hit or miss. And it's a story worth telling, but it pales next to, say, All the President's Men, or even, yikes, Spielberg's recent Pentagon Papers docudrama, The Post. It's not bad. An important statement in an age when the free press is being threatened. But as movies go, not enough shocks and too little awe. Okay, let's wrap this son of a gun up with Siberia. Keanu Reeves stars in this supposed thriller about a U.S. diamond merchant caught in a lethal crossfire between the well-connected kind of thuggish buyer, other interested parties, and federal agents when a business deal in Russia goes south. It is a drag. It's long and lugubrious. It's like a stay at a gulag in the Siberia of the title. The movie's also set in St. Petersburg, but mostly spends its time in the icy wastes of Siberia, where our bland anti-hero manages to fall for a Russian cafe owner named Katya within moments of meeting her. Their sex scenes, no great shakes, but they're a skosh more interesting than Reeves and his character. I don't know. He just doesn't make you care about him or even be invested in what happens to him. Your mileage may vary, but I think Mr. Reeves is magnetism challenged, although I will admit to liking the John Wick movies, where he's simply a nonstop agent of kinetic kind of slash and burn violence. In Siberia, way too little of that. Directed by Matthew Ross. Meh. What have you been watching, buddy?
Let me see here. I watched a rock movie, now that you're mentioning The Rock, Rampage. And I enjoyed it. Yeah. I enjoyed it. There's something about Dwayne Johnson that is just so likable on screen. I think he can sell any movie.
Well, that's absolutely the truth. And if you liked Rampage, and I did not, I really enjoyed watching Skyscraper. So it's going to be fun when you finally get around to seeing it. Let me ask you a quick question, because I think these things are available on video, this one in particular, or will be soon. Have you heard about or seen Three Identical Strangers, the documentary about the triplets who are separated at birth and then meet one another at about the age of 18?
No.
It's absolutely worth seeing. It's one of the best documentaries I've seen in a while. And I think PBS was one of the investors or production entities behind it.
The other show that I watched, because out of pure curiosity, because I hate the asshole, Bob Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters.
Oh, you watched the first step?
Yeah, and in spite of the fact that I have disagreements and problems with Mr. Goldthwait over the years, I have to say the show actually sucks. So the first episode is about a guy who does a voice, played by Seth Green, who does the voice for a cartoon bear, and all of a sudden the cartoon bear comes alive and tries to kill him. And it was so heavy-handed, and so, it just wasn't very good. The premise is terrific, but premise isn't everything. Execution is. And the execution sucked. So I do not recommend Bob Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters. All right?
But that's about it. You can catch up with me on Twitter at Culture Blaster. Listen to Alex and yours truly on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. Oh, please stay tuned to GABNet, of course, and check into Roku. And back to you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, Michael. And that's our Michael Snyder reviews for today. We'll have more again next week, and of course we have more GABNet coming right up.